On areas where we agree with the government, I've actually tried to say that. But what you find is, you know, in the modern media, if I stand up and say, by and large, I agree with the government on that, there'll be no mention of me whatsoever in any coverage of that particular issue. I only get coverage when I'm disagreeing with them. And so as a result, the public think, all you ever do is disagree. Well, it's not. Actually, we're agreeing with a lot of the things that they're doing. I've absolutely got the support of the team to lead the party into the next election. And plenty of people have made comebacks. I'd like to have another go at being Prime Minister. I've still got a lot of things that I'd like to do. And I'd like to have a good, decent run at that. I mean, 6 months. I mean, it's effectively 6 months if you take out the election campaign. 6 months isn't much time to do anything really in that job. I'd like to have a good crack at that. I'm a big fan of our farmers. I've spent quite a bit of time over the last year visiting farmers, but there's going to be a limit to the amount that we can make out of farming. There's always going to be a natural limit to that. You know, you can only farm so many cows, only grow so many trees, only, you know, produce so much stuff. New Zealand farmers just don't care about the environment, don't want to protect the waterways, aren't interested in animal welfare. Empathy has been a really important part in my life. Man, it's amazing how much of humanity seems to have lost the ability to think about that. We do things to other people and without thinking, how would I feel if that was me? You know, and so that's something that I've always tried to stick with in my life. Okay, you know, when I'm making decisions, how would I feel if I was on the other end of these decisions? And that empathy, I think, is really important, and it's an underrated quality in politics, I think. You know, I think I've got no problem with people doing well, you know, making a good, comfortable life for themselves. People getting wealthy, that's great. You know, everyone should have the opportunity to do that. But when you get to the point where we're at now, where the inequality is so great that 3 people standing on the podium next to Donald Trump when he was sworn in have more wealth between those 3 people than half of the rest of the population of the United States, that's just not, that doesn't pass the fairness test to me.
Have you ever seen a therapist or anything?
I think people shouldn't be afraid to talk to people. So I have done that on occasion. One day I'll sit down with a therapist and talk through the whole period of COVID-19, but that might take a while. Yeah, no, I'd encourage people to do it. Everyone can get something out of talking to someone. I have said to all of our MPs, you know, even if you only do it once and you decide you don't need it anymore, everyone should try it at least once. You know, go and talk to someone. Because politics is one of those jobs where it's very easy to get stuck inside your own head. And no one should be ashamed of reaching out and getting a bit of help from time to time. Everyone will go through periods where they need it.